Welcome to Heritage Lutheran Church. You've already met Professor Benjamin Fostad, director of the band from Bethany Lutheran College. That's all I was going to say at this point. I just wanted to welcome you. Nice to see everybody here this morning. And as he said, daylight savings time, everyone made it. That's great. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Professor.
We're going to start with a selection called Appalachian Morning, and what I'm going to be asking you is, once it's done, would you let me know what came to mind? What did it stir, a memory? What are you kind of visualizing as the music is unfolding? We did this at the elementary school at Mount Olive a couple days ago, and there was like 100 kids that raised their hands, and they wanted to say something, so I'm hoping that we get maybe 5 at least, you know. So once the selection is done, I'd like to know what you kind of thought as we were performing it. So here's Appalachian Morning. think what came to mind, we can get at least 5 people to chime in, right? Imagine if we can do 5. There's not a wrong answer, really. Go for it. Earth coming to life in the springtime. That's awesome. Yeah. Robert Sheldon did an amazing job, didn't he, to just show that awakening and that life. What? Another one. Where? Yes. Mountains, valley, peaks, the sun emerging. Yes? Isn't she brilliant? She's my daughter, you know. So it's Noelle, Julia, hello. Another one by chance? Yeah. Feeling of peace. Isn't that great? Well, this, just to kind of give an understanding of the sonic level of this ensemble, that was probably the second quietest selection. So just brace yourselves, particularly for this next one. They're just going to cut loose. Honestly, if you end up doing this, it's okay. You know, we're not going to be offended. We're just counterbalance. And, you know, I would say counterbalance speaks to, there's a heroic quality to this ensemble, and particularly a number of members in this concert band. A few months back, I said, okay, admissions department, advancement department, where should we go? We're going to get tour up and running again. We didn't tour in 2021. Where should we go? And admissions said, oh, this high school, this high school, this high school, this, okay. And then advancement said, oh, this church, this church, this church, this church. And I said, okay, we'll do them all. And I think it just kind of shocked them. And we decided we're going to take our chamber orchestra out. So our chamber orchestra, 5 years back, was about 10 members, and now it's almost 30. So we said, well, wouldn't it be fun to take that ensemble out? So Saturday, a week from yesterday, we left. We hit the road. We went to Holy Cross Church in Madison. We led the hymns for both services, performed in between the two services. Then we went to Faith Lutheran Church with Pastor Hendricks, performed there. And the next day we went to Shoreland Lutheran High School. One of the members of the ensemble is going to be orchestra director there. Then to Lombard, Illinois at St. Timothy's Lutheran Church. And the next day on the way back at Onalaska Lutheran High School and performed there. And then Tuesday night met with the concert band. We did a dress rehearsal. Then the next morning, all right, let's go to Mayer Lutheran High School. And we performed there. And then that night, oh, here we go. It is on the program, right? On the front page. Now you're kind of getting to this stage in the tour. We were at Bethany Lutheran Church. We couldn't resist, right? It's Bethany Lutheran Church, you know. Pastor Jernander, and we performed there. And then the next day, St. Croix Lutheran Academy. And then the next day, Minnesota Valley Lutheran High School. And that afternoon, Mount Olive Lutheran School. And then last night, King of Grace. And then here. This is number 12, starting from 1 week ago, Sunday. There were 10... There's 10 members in this group. Well, Cyril's part of it, so you'll see 9 hands being raised that were also part of the chamber orchestra tour. Would you raise your hand? So they have been with me all week. They are sick of me, I guarantee, you know, but amazing job. So I think counterbalance speaks to what this last week has been. It's been a wild ride. So here we go, counterbalance. Wow, right? So, on the program here, if you turn to the inside cover, you can see the majors represented in this ensemble. This is quite an incredible cross-section of campus. This is Bethany. Music, the arts are remarkable. You'll have scientists in this group. I mean, it's so cool to see all the different areas of campus here, and it makes for a remarkable ensemble, doesn't it? What if we said, no, if you're just music, if you're going to just study music, then just do this? No. You can do this if you like and be part of, but really anything. So it's just really cool to have that group here. The program, we're gonna go to dusk next, and then we're gonna kind of change the order just a little bit. So dusk is next up. Oh, and that picture there, that's from Christmas at Bethany this last December. So you can see we were having quite the grand old time, and I guess I was singing, wasn't I? Yeah, that's what was happening, huh? Okay, all right. So dusk. So dusk. The title speaks for itself, right? And I think in the wintertime we have such a beautiful sunset or beautiful dusk sequence that unfolds, especially in this cold weather climate. I think there's another way that you could look at this selection, and it's also end of life. So when you have that chance to say that, say I love you one last time to a loved one, or have those final conversations, it is such a beautiful moment before they're with their Savior in heaven. So this piece, I think you'll either kind of visualize and see that at dusk, or it might be an opportunity to kind of like reflect on those really beautiful moments. And the composer just does an excellent job here. Here's dusk. Well, I'd like to take a moment and add a little bit of information that's not printed in the program, and that is, if this is your first year at Bethany, would you raise your hand if this is your first year at Bethany? Second year, third year, and fourth year. Then the other information is just out of curiosity, when did you start playing that instrument that you've got in front of you? Did you start in 5th and 6th grade? 7th, 8th grade? In high school? In college? So you kind of get an idea of the time which they started. For me, I started in high school. So our next selection is the Mandalorian. So we're going to jump around just a little bit. We're not going to close with the Mandalorian. We're going to kind of kick things off before we go on our world music tour. We'll just kind of go out of this world, right? Just a show of hands, have you heard the Mandalorian theme? Okay, maybe a third or so. All right, and for the rest of you, you'll be wondering, what is this thing? I don't know. It's a pretty popular series, and the music's pretty cool. But here's the Mandalorian. We're going to begin our world music tour in a terrifically interesting place. Lots of incredible tales come from the great state of Iowa. So we know John Philip Sousa's the March King. There's another fella to know in the March world, and that's Carl King. This guy had his first composition published at age 17. He ended up writing 130 marches and 300-some waltzes and serenades. At age 29, he started conducting the Fort Dodge Municipal Band. How many years did he conduct that band? 10 years, that would be cool. 20, 30, 40, 51 years. He conducted that band till he was 80 years old. So it's no surprise they just said, we're going to just call it the King's Band. So that's what they named that ensemble. And I think it's only fitting that we play a tune that's, what's a trombone king? In John Philip Sousa's band, do you know who the highest paid musician was in that group? The bass drummer. They paid the bass drummer more money than any other musician, and you'll hear it. I mean, that bass drum is going to kind of drive things along. If you feel so inspired to clap a little bit while that bass drum is churning, that'd be kind of fun. Then there's this middle section that's a bit softer, this trio portion, where the bass drummer takes a little break and the tuba takes over. You wouldn't have to clap then. But when the bass drum's kicking, you know, you could do a little bit of clapping, all right? Here's the trombone king. I know we have a number of alumni here, and there's one alumni in particular that was a classmate of mine and did a lot of work to help bring this band here, helped kind of coordinate some housing and had some snacks when we arrived. And this is Drusha Cashon. She was a classmate of mine at Bethany. She's out over there. Can we give her a hand? Thank you. And of course, Andy's awesome too. We know this, okay? All right, yeah. And then I'd like, if you're an alumni at Bethany, would you please stand up? Okay, cool. Let's give them a hand. Yeah, very cool. So our next selection is Yesterday's Joy, and that's Sola Sani. That's the translation to it, written by Samuel Hazo, an outstanding composer. And I think Yesterday's Joy can sort of be a look back on those incredible times as alumni that you had at Bethany. We have a number of people set to graduate in May. Raise your hand if you're set to graduate this May. Raise your hand, okay. And then December, we've got some December graduates that'll be coming up here. So pretty soon, their college experience will be in the past. So just to take a moment and reflect on this incredible time, this piece, I think, has so many different expressions to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Here's Sola Sani. Our next selection is going to be from the movie Brave. That was released 10 years ago or so. Have we seen the movie Brave? The mom turned into a bear, and that helped her relationship with her daughter, and then turned back to a human, and also the little kids turned into little cub bear thingies, and really interesting film. I don't know. We watched it a few days ago on the bus, and we were kind of like, um, but the music's really great, you know? I mean, you've got Patrick Doyle writing this, and Sean O'Loughlin arranging it, so it makes for a lot of good fun. I think I've told enough for percussion. What do you think? I think so, yeah. You got to retune the timpani and stuff, so, but hopefully it's meaningful stuff I'm saying, but, you know. All right, we're going to go on to Brave. that we have the Disney princess from that film in this band? Did you realize that? You maybe had picked her out already, and you're like, yeah, that's her. No, all joking aside, Dalen is an amazing student. Do you see in the program what she's majoring in? What is she majoring in? Triple major? I mean, she's been here 10 years, but no. I'm so sorry. No, she's doing it in 4 years. Triple major in 4 years. If I was an employer, I would say hired. I mean, somebody that works that hard and also does remarkable work. Beautiful flute player, amazing work in the theater department. I mean, you name it. Dalen, wow. And a Disney princess to boot. How cool is that? So also, in the program, and it's so great we have this cross-section of campus present here. What would it be without music majors? Would you raise your hand if you're a music major? Okay, keep your hand up. So we wouldn't have an oboe. If we didn't have a music major at Bethany, we wouldn't have an oboe. We wouldn't have the clarinet, saxophone, trumpet, euphonium, no, piccolo, sorry. Mallets over there, no, tuba. We wouldn't have a tuba. So how important is it to have that musical leadership in an ensemble? And we're going to showcase one of those outstanding musical leaders who's just in her second year of study at Bethany Lutheran College. You'll see her bio on the back page of the program. Please join me in welcoming Tamara Omar.
Our next piece is The Ocean of Fire by Jeremy Bell, which creates a picture of the wide-open desert landscape and a journey traveled by a Bedouin tribe. In the opening measures of the piece, visualize a wide desert landscape. When the tempo picks up, the journey begins. The Bedouin tribe, dressed in light-colored clothing from head to toe, is traveling across the desert on a herd of camels. Suddenly, a sandstorm appears and makes travel impossible. Then the sandstorm clears, and they arrive at a beautiful oasis, signified by the clarinet and oboe duet. Soon the tempo slows once again, and a clarinet glissando ushers in the feeling of intense heat, the sun beating down too hot to even move. Their travel is stalled again. Their journey through the intense desert picks back up when you hear the gradual accelerando. The Ocean of Fire comes to a stunning conclusion with a bold crescendo, and we leave the story of the Bedouins' adventure behind. tale of the Chinese Ming Dynasty military. It begins with the Mongol attack with lots of percussion. We got the timpani, snare, toms, gong, and bass drum. The attack unfolds with the entrance of the brass and upper winds. The battle ends and we slow into the aftermath. Flute and tenor sax solos express the sorrow and helplessness of the people following the attack. The oboe feature leads us into peacetime, where the Chinese army prepares to take on the next attack by rebuilding and training. This serene section is abruptly halted by Empire Victorious with a powerful war cry by the brass instruments. Unlike the beginning, the Chinese army powers through and defeats their Mongol attackers.
have one final selection, but before I introduce that to it is Mr. Bruce Brax here. You see here, he is Sorry, I'm putting you on the spot. I just figured if you wanted to say a few words before our final selection. So please welcome Mr. Bruce Gratz.
I can talk now. I was just talking down the hall, so I can do it in here too. Thank you today for coming and enjoying what the band and concert band has to offer here at Bethany. Ben's told you a lot of great things of the many different facet things that they do. And we try to do a lot of different things on campus. We now have 27 majors, 25 minors, and 7 pre-professional programs. So just a little, about this time last year, I was talking to a gentleman in Arizona, and he said, I'd really like my daughter to come to campus, but we don't think it's going to work out. We really love Bethany, but she wants to be a veterinarian. And you don't have veterinary as a major. And I says, well, we do have that as a pre-professional program, so she could get her basics in 4 years there. And, well, that turned a light bulb on, and I think maybe we'll have a new student from the Phoenix area now. But it's just those continual offerings. I mentioned after the service today in the social hall that we continually want to give the students what they want so that while they're on campus, we can give them what they need. And then is that gospel message of Jesus as their Savior. And that's one of the cornerstones of our mission is to spread that good news. And hopefully while they're on campus, they can continue to grow in their faith. And for many of them, that's hearing about Jesus for the first time. We have 128 students, international students on campus this year. And a lot of those know more about Black Friday than they do Christmas. And so they really don't understand the true meaning of that season. And hopefully while they're on campus, they can learn about that. And your congregation does a very good job of supporting Bethany. Thank you very much for doing that. We appreciate that. Look at your support coming out to see us today. I understand we haven't been here in about 5 years. We'll do a better job of getting back maybe a little bit sooner next time.
So we tried in 2019, but our calendars didn't line up. We were going to bring the chamber orchestra here, so it didn't quite work. Yes,
Okay.
we love it here.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll be back soon. Yes.
But thank you, Ben, for giving me a couple minutes. I'm the Vice President of Advancement, and I work with our alumni relations, all our communications and public relations on campus, and fundraising as well. So thank you for having us today. I appreciate it.
You probably see this on the back page of the program, towards the bottom. Would you like to hear this group again? We are performing on April 26th. It's going to be the concert band, the chamber orchestra, and we're going to bring both groups together. As part of the concert band repertoire, we're doing a drum set concerto. How wild is that? So there's this small guy over there, Gabe Smith, that tiny kid. He's going to be doing some drum set work. Lionel, who wasn't able to attend tour, he plays a mean guitar. So we've got Mason Williams classical gas. We're planning to do that too. And then like a double concerto. Why not, you know? So that's going to be kind of concert band repertoire. Chamber orchestra, Brandenburg 3, Mozart's Requiem. We kind of have some plans for that. Then we're going to bring both the groups together, and we're looking at the Lord of the Rings. I think that'd be a really fun selection for both of them. So April 26th, it would be great to see you. Bethany's not far, just a hop, skip, and a jump away, right? So it'd be great to see you on campus. So we're going to close with the final selection here, written back in 1946 by Alfred Fremder. This has been the tradition of the Bethany Choir to close many a concert. This is On My Heart in Print Thine Image. You're more than welcome to sing along with this band. here, this is a great group of young men and women. They would love to chat with you after this concert right here. So don't be afraid. They won't bite. They might smile a bunch. You know, that's the worst thing probably, right? No. But please chat with them. They love to hear from you. This is our final stop on the tour, and what a wonderful one. So thank you guys so much.
There's nothing I can say to add to that, except two observations. One, you have to go back and ask your mom and dad, or possibly grandparents for some of you, 2001 Space Odyssey. I may not have heard of The Mandalorian, but I think when we were growing up, that's what our bands were playing, was the 2001 Space Odyssey. Next thing is that Dave and I were converging in the back, and he says to me, he says, man, these guys are looking younger all the time. I turned to Dave, who's 20 years younger than I am. I says, it gets worse the older you get. So thank you. And then is awesome still a word? It's not in my vocabulary, but is awesome still a word? Well, that was awesome. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you. Some business to take care of for the members. Members, if you brought an offering, there's a offering plate on the left side on the table for sign up for Lenten suppers. The Cooper, Steve and Oliver will have offering plates also for free will offering for the cost of the band if you are so inclined. A couple of announcements I want to go over real quick, and I won't take long to do this. I won't go into details. If you want a printed copy, there are some bulletins from the early morning service yet out on there. Don't forget the Lenten suppers. Sign up for those on the table over there where you drop off your offering. The midweek Lenten service this week will be hosted by the youth group. Their proceeds are going to go to their Lutheran Youth Association convention, so be sure you're here on Wednesday. Easter flower sign up is out there as always. Thank you to the TLC for providing the sweets in between the service for these guys. And then also they're going to be serving food to the kids. Young adults. I'm sorry. As I said, everyone's a kid when you get to be my age. So that's that. And then Fiesta night, also mark your calendar for that. There again, the youth group will be serving at that, and that's for the Lutheran Youth Association convention. Proceeds are going to go to that for their trip out there. That's all I have. I don't think there's anything else. Chan, anything? Nothing? All right, good enough then. Thank you all for coming. God bless the rest of your week. Thank you.